taken it to heart. He will proactively ask teachers for some extensions, or will meet with them in additional time in order to make sure that he really grasps the material. He will ask questions of his peers, and over the course of these past 3 terms, it's really been great progress for us to see his willingness not just to ask those questions and continuing looking for that support, but also helping as well. So that is the true sign of his growth, is that now he is giving out his hand and his support to others who might be struggling. And for the winner for overall academic effort is Luke Bradley Fisher. Congrats. Don't doubt yourself, bud. Yeah. All right. Got it. And for overall academic achievement, the winner in his second year here at Woodhull really illustrates the highest potential that we can really ask for a student to achieve in. So much so that we've had to make classes for just him. And it will be a great struggle that next year we also have to find more classes, individual classes for this student, just so we can meet their highest academic potential, and that is Evan Cedar Myrie. Great work, Evan. Congrats.
So I'm going to have Mr. Marcinek come up to talk about residential life. Many of you are in the dorm this afternoon, and as you know, boys' dorms across New England have a particular odor, shall we say. And sometimes it takes a sibling to say it best. Actually, it was Charles's little sister who said, boys are smelly. But Caden's sister just said, it smells like a tack room, just one that hasn't been cleaned in a long time. And so there you go. That's your intro, Mr. Marcinek.
Always love the support. Thank you. So if I could call up the dorm parents, please, from Tower and French. Thank you very much. So I just wanted to take a minute, especially now that we have pretty much the whole community here, to thank you for all of the diligent, hard work that you guys have put in throughout the year. I truly could not have asked for a more capable, caring, kind team to help raise the gentleman here. You invite the students into your homes, break bread with them, watch movies. You're the ones that they run to when they're feeling ill in the middle of the night. You celebrate their greatest victories and support them in some of their deepest vulnerabilities. So truly, thank you so much. And please, a round of applause for these wonderful people. So with the Dorm Citizenship Awards for this term, we wanted to accentuate progress in practicing the skills of effective community building. And I think that we have chosen some stellar students for this award, especially for this term, both doing that community building and providing a safe space for students, but in very different ways. So I will now hand out the awards to the dorm parents. So we got French first, and then Tower. You wanted to talk? There you go.
Okay. I'm also not used to a microphone, so. So this student that we decided on for this award this term, yes, it's for the term, but really it's been progress over his past 3 years with the Woodhull community, and his growth as an individual in his interactions with his peers, in his interactions with the dorm. I have been very privileged to witness 2 of those years, and It was, the first night on dorm duty when the urinal flooded and he came and laughed at me last year, so always good. But he has really become a leader. He really put a lot of work into building a community center in the senior lounge. He put a lot of effort into creating it and to making it a welcoming space for everyone on campus. And so for that, we would like to give this to Avi Robert Hammer. Tuck your shirt in.
You would think I would like a microphone, but they actually make me very nervous. So, in meeting with my fellow dorm parents and in our meetings, we discussed different candidates for Tower Dorm. Tower is a unique environment. It is also an odorous environment, as Mr. Woodhall noted. However, this student has made a lot of progress in bringing joy to the dorm. He stepped up as a recently announced student leader to help the dorm parents and support us. He always offers a fun or entertaining joke as he's carrying a blue bowl to make popcorn right before I'm trying to lock it up. However, I have really enjoyed working with this student, and so the dorm parents of Tower are happy to give this award to Hayes Nickel Talbot. Start with him.
Thank you, Mr. G. Thank you, Senior Blue. Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Mr. Mahoney.
So Ms. Skolsky remembered that last year when we did this and we had the microphone, that we had a stand. She goes, yeah, I remember, you made a short joke. But to present the Student Life Awards, I want to have Ms. Skolsky come up. Some of you parents spend more time on the phone with her than others, but Ms. Skolsky, if you could come forward and prevent. Actually, she prevents a lot of things too.
Thank you. It's a great introduction. Thank you, I really appreciate it. So the first award I'm here to present is the Phoenix Award. And the Phoenix Award is given to that student who manifests strong school spirit and a commitment to the helping of others. This student has been at the school for a few years, and I think that before you can help others, you really have to have a lot of self-awareness. And I know this award is for this term. This student has been on a journey for the last few years to really work on self-awareness and then understanding what that means in order to help other people. He shows how much he cares on a daily basis, always asking if he can help out, whether it be just generally around school or even the commitment he shows on the athletic field. He's passionate, he's encouraging. Lately, I have to talk to students a lot, and it's not always about, something really fun and happy. Sometimes it's about redirecting a behavior, and when this student has been present, he has always said, hey man, maybe we think about it that way, or will that make your life easier if you decide to do what she's saying? And that really helps me out quite a bit. He has a strong commitment to his friends and to other people in the community. I'm really looking forward to working with him next year as a student leader, and the way that he checks in with students and make sure that they're doing okay, or just checks in about is something okay in order to help the community better. It is my absolute pleasure to award the Phoenix Award to Dalton Brian Cronin. So next we will move on to the Club Awards. The Club Awards are for outstanding participation. So this goes to a student that the club leaders recognize as putting in that extra effort, showing additional enthusiasm, and just being a great presence during the club period. If first, Mr. Funsock can come up to present for the Mindfulness Club.
Mindfulness Club sounds pretty fancy, I know. But it is the smallest club we have in campus. I have only 2 students in this club. We begin with that. But you're laughing, right? There's still more to laugh that I lost 1 student and finally ended up with only 1. So I told Matt that actually mindfulness means really enjoying the present moment. Really, that is. But it seems like that nobody wants to dwell in the present moment. So anyway, the Mindfulness Club, actually the goal for is to really to be in the present moment, to enjoy that, to understand your own mind. So that will help you in dealing the stress or anxiety, whatever. So after all, our worries, our anxieties, our thoughts, whatever that's going on is in your mind. We know that. If you have control over that means, if you're able to tame that means, you will understand the nature of your own mind. And that's the goal of Mindfulness Club. And however, due to our habits, often we drift into past, future, or external agencies to which we attribute our problems. And we completely forget that whatever going on is in your own mind. So what we do in Mindfulness Club is basically trying to develop some of the fundamental skill to stay in the present moment. So to build that, so I started with what I call a focal point meditation for stabilizing your mind. The first thing is when you look at your mind, you will see a chaos going in you there, the moment. And it's not very fun to see that chaos. It's disturbing sometimes even to look at your mind, and it's so chaotic there. You don't want to be there. And then, however, if you begin to recognize that, and that's when you start working on clearing that. The moment you are able to clear your mind, then you'll begin to see that you have been using your mind, only a small portion of your mind, functional mind. Most of them are busy. How can you do your math problem with the 80% of their mind being consumed by different things? How can you do a science assignment if your mind is fully really developing into something that has nothing to do with the science in the moment? So that is all about mindfulness practice. And so this student receiving this award tonight is not receiving this award because he's the only one in the club. He takes mindfulness pretty seriously, honestly, and practice honestly during the meeting, often uses it when he needs them, especially when he's in a stressful situation. And I'm pleased to present the Mindfulness Club Award to Campbell Bouquet Rivera.
Next, if Mrs. McCrisky-Sly can come up to present for the art club.
All right, so bear with me. I have my phone for a reason. So this person, there's so much to say about this person, so I had to put it in note form. So art is an expression of creativity and imagination in our lives. This person has, on a daily basis, have enriched all of our lives with his amazing talent. It's amazing, it's free, and I really hope that he continues it next year. And it goes to, hold up there. Sorry, Owen Jacob Fire.
Mr. Ng and Mr. Kavakas to present for the Web Development Club.
So when we started the Web Development Club, the original plan was we would focus on web design and programming. But as the club took place in the STEM lab and we started filling out the space, many of the boys gravitated towards making things with the STEM lab equipment. This particular student really became interested in 3D printing and working with Tinkercad. In the winter term, he made a SpongeBob. And in the spring term, he made SpongeBob's house, which is a pineapple. And he made a set of chess pieces. He did finish second in the chess tournament, by the way. The pineapple house was particularly impressive because pineapples are pretty complicated, and he showed a lot of drive and determination and creative problem solving in coming up with his pineapple house, which I actually do have here. So the winner of the Web Development Club Award is Luke Matthew Budavas.
Thank you. This means so much to me.
Mr. Reisman and Mr. McGann for the Chess and Backgammon Club.
So this club is called the Chess and Backgammon Club, but over time, much like the Web Development Club, we gravitated towards something different, and that is playing pool. And that's what we did most of our time. And if we're being honest with ourselves, we spent most of our time losing to this guy in pool. But for the student that we picked for outstanding participation, came to clubs every day with a good attitude. And even though I think he would admit he is not very good at the game itself, he always put his best effort in. And most importantly, was able to keep us entertained every day. So outstanding participation in the Chess and Backgammon Club goes to Cameron Jack Higgins. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. There it is.
You owe me $20 too for that last game.
Mr. Mahoney and Miss Overstrom for the Woodhall Woodsman.
So in my experience with microphones, you just hold them and adjust your volume. For everybody who's struggling with that one. I don't know, Charlie. All right. So we have the Woodsman, which at its outset started as a way to give back to the community by getting outside and really getting our hands dirty. And in the fall term, I started with a specific format, which I'm going to continue with. And I'm going to say, what makes a woodsman, gentlemen? Is it Charlie Gertel, who showed up on time? Sometimes. Is it Caden Miller, who showed up with a smile? Sometimes. Is it Elias Boyd, who is not here at the moment? Is it any number of other boys like Owen Danner, who likes to get out there and chop down every tree? Even when we tell him not to? Not really, no. This time, what makes a woodsman is someone who showed up on time, dedicated himself to bettering the school both inside and outside. Most notably, as a new student, he really brought, I think, a kindness and growth to our club. And so it is our pleasure to give this award to
Luke Bradley Fisher.
Mr. Noonan and Mr. G, Creative Writing Club.
Am I starting? Yeah. Hello? Writing can be a lonely pursuit, but for an hour every Saturday, it felt a lot less lonely in the Creative Writing Club. We would write, rewrite, and share, and really get to know each other over the course of a year. And in that spirit of community, we wanted to not just name one winner, but to acknowledge all 4 members of the club. So could all 4 members of Creative Writing please come up? And we'll say a few things about each of them. I'll start and then hand it off to Mr. G. First of all, Aidan McKee, maybe our most versatile writer. He can write all sorts of stories, from the hellishly apocalyptic to the wittily domestic. He's a longstanding member of the club, and I hope he joins again next year. So, Aidan McKee, everyone. You want to go?
Judah Daniel Rosner. Judah is working on a love story in which he's trying to imagine his way into the lives and the hearts of a young couple who are faced for the first time with the pain of separation. The story is thoughtful and sensitive. Excuse me, my hand is shaking. And infused with a tender sense of longing perfectly fitted to its subject. Judah.
Yeah. Charles Thomas, whose locomotive-based screenplay is, like its author, a strange world unto itself. Funny, dark, and I don't really understand it. But we read some of it aloud the other day, and everyone really liked it, so I hope you do pursue it over the summer and next year. So, Charles Thomas.
Lastly, Hayes Nickel Talbot, or as he now insists on being called, Hayes Talbot, student leader, is writing the definitive anything and everything guide to his beloved band, Pink Floyd. From Roger Waters to Syd Barrett, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn to The Dark Side of the Moon, 250 million albums sold, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all there, Hayes Talbot.
Also, please do look at the Arts and Literary magazine. A few pieces are featured, as well as a lot of artwork from all of many of your sons. So, thank you very much.
And a very big thank you to Mr. Noonan for putting together the Art and Lit mag. It is better and better each year that I've seen it, so thank you, Mr. Noonan, for putting that together. I'm not sure this is on anymore. We saved this one for last. This is a club. It is yearbook, but is much more than a club. They take club time, but everybody in yearbook club also works many, many hours outside of the Saturday club time. Please ask your students to see the yearbook. It is really great. I'm not sure how, but Senior Booth and Miss Dib make it better each year, and the students are a huge part of that as well. So, Senior Booth and Miss Dib for Yearbook Club.
Testing.
Testing.
It works. I was trying to think of something witty, and that was all I came up with. So the yearbook club is something that I'm on my 4th book, and it's a roller coaster. No pun intended, because last year our book had a roller coaster on it. It is a lot of extra work, but it always culminates to a moment of pure stress as I'm handing them out, and then relief and joy as I see everybody asking for signatures and flipping through the pages and pointing out the spelling errors. But it's so great to be part of a team that's end goal is to create something that we can all share. I like to say that when we start looking at the yearbook, a lot of the tasks that the boys and ourselves are tasked with is how do we make this book for each and every student? How do we incorporate each and every student? We diligently look and make sure that people are featured in the pages, and how can we go out and get their photo in there, even when we're trying to chase them down and they're like, I don't want my picture taken. And I'm like, I promise in 10 years you're gonna want your picture taken. And so this year, we worked very hard, and I couldn't have done it without my yearbook team, but also my co-advisor, Miss Dibb, who keeps me sane. We are two very creative people that try to rein each other in. However, when it's late at night and we're trying to edit this book and we're like, should we do this? And we're like, yeah! Then we get a little witty with our writing. And so I'm going to actually have her present the theme before we give the award for outstanding participation, and then that recipient is going to come up and read our dedication and provide that book to our dedicee. Is that the word? The person who got the dedication.
Sure. So this begins with a phrase that many of the students know, which is, I read a book. And it was called Funny Weather by Olivia Lang. And the theme of this year was funny weather. And the concept of this book is a collection of essays about art created in times of crisis. The author asks, what is the relationship between art and disaster, and makes the argument that things created in times of political, global, and environmental upheaval provide both cultural touch points for scholars of history and society in the future, and comfort for the people who live in the moment. These things can be anything from songs to essays to pieces of traditional art. This year, the Woodhull School's yearbook theme is funny weather, encapsulating the environment the Woodhull students exist in and how they are products of their experiences of COVID-19, environmental changes, and global unrest during their formative years. So we tried to really encapsulate both the progress that the students are making as they are on their journey at Woodhull, but also the fact that they have to contend with so much from the outside world as well as what's going on with them personally. So that is our theme for this year.
Alrighty. So the person who has received the outstanding participation in Yearbook Club is somebody who worked very hard, not only tagging the majority of the photos, that way we could have a thorough index, that way everybody could find themselves, but also somebody that showed up and even post hitting submit and me wanting to cry about worrying, still showed up and tried to bring fun to our club, suggested things that we could do, spent time with Miss Dibb and I. We spent the last club playing video games, which isn't quite yearbook related, but it was, teamwork still. And so we happily give this award to Calvin Huck Novotny, who will also read our dedication. So Huck's going to read our dedication, and then we will welcome the dedicee up to shake our hands.
The 2022-2023 yearbook is dedicated to Mr. Paul Noonan. Mr. Noonan has worked with the Gentlemen of Woodhull for a decade now and continues to inspire the boys by modeling the expectations of the community. He's known for his wit, humor, and a strong sense of sportsmanship. Mr. Noonan is a former dorm parent and currently teaches English. Thank you, Mr. Noonan, for your work within our community. Faculty, staff, and students are grateful for your wisdom, honesty, and your ability to always find just the word we are looking for.
Thank you, everybody. And please pester your sons to see the yearbook. Please.
Jared, you didn't want to introduce me for the Communications Award? No.
Mr. Woodhall, everybody.
Yeah. So, Paul, you're an English teacher. Is dedicate a word, or is it just a? Yeah. Okay. Just. So we had a lot of new students this year, in particular, a lot of new juniors, and this boy was new this year. He was a new junior, and always presented as a kind and thoughtful young man. He was dutiful and conscientious in meeting his commitments, but early on in the school year, he was holding back. Understandably, it was a time of transition. He was pretty anxious about coming to this new school, and when he tried to put himself out there and advocate for himself, I sensed an inner apprehension sort of holding him back. And then to his credit, in the spring term, he chose to run for student leader and engaged in that student leadership process. And I think it was through there that he really began to find his voice in the community. And we were seeing a lot more of his very endearing smile, which I hope he flashes when he comes up to accept this award. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has to offer the community in his senior year, because he's really now begun in earnest that process of self-reflection and self-expression with accountability. It is my pleasure to present the Growth in Communications Skills for the spring term to Luke Bradley Fisher. Congratulations, Luke. Timmy. Well, here's the thing with Mr. Marcinek. I've known him as Tim now for 5 years, and a couple years ago I was at a heads conference, and I met his head of school where he went through K through 12, and he said, "How's Timmy doing?" So.
So we're very happy to stand up here before you to announce our student leaders for the 2023-2024 school year. They go through a process, they write an application, they have to interview with us and then some of the current student leaders, and they also have to kind of, put their words into actions, right? We want to kind of see what they're doing throughout the community. So we're excited. We have 7 for next year, which is great because we only started this year with 3. So, okay, we're going to come on up when we read your name. So the first, Dalton Cronin. Luke Fisher. Charlie Gertel. Aiden McKee. Caden Miller. Evan Myrie. And last but definitely not least, Hayes Talbot.
Congratulations, Jen. Looking forward to next year. So Mr. Funsak has served as Dean of School for a number of years, and he took over as Director of Athletics when Carl Seafried retired. So how many years has it now been, Mr. Funsak? A number of years. And Mr. Funsak himself, not only is he a compassionate, charismatic mentor, but he's an accomplished athlete in his own right. Even as he, is settled into middle-aged, like many of us are. He's also a very fierce competitor. in most sports that he partakes in, and in the game of chess. And it's funny, Tashi, you gave a very informed and wise speech about mindfulness, and you bring that to everything that you do with the boys. And rarely have I seen you lose your cool, and you just exercise compassion and patience all the time. Except, here's the thing, I think I've seen him lose his cool in the 20 years that I've known him twice. And it's when, as a basketball coach, the ref made a really bad call. And it's a really bad call when you ticked off the Tibetan Buddhist. But Tashi, thank you for all that you do to serve the gentlemen of Woodhull and our colleagues, and especially as Director of Athletics. It's challenging as a small school, especially in lacrosse, because a lot of our competitor schools have just been closing. But Tashi, if you want to come forward and present the sports teams.
Thank you so much. Actually, this is the first year since pandemic that we have a really uninterrupted, full swing athletic program in operation. And credit goes to coaches, actually. And I'd like to recognize the hard work of our coaches in bringing back the program in full swing and making it a very successful year. I want to recognize all the coaches, fall term, winter term, and spring term. So, coaches, can you stand up, please, when I read your name? Fall term soccer coaches, Mr. Noonan, Mr. Cully, and Mr. McGain. Cross country, Miss Overstorm, Miss Bakrisky-Schley, Mr. Marcinek. Outdoor challenge coaches, Mr. Booth and Mr. Kavakis. Walter. And Miss Dip, sorry. Miss Dip too, that's right. Thank you. And for winter term or wrestling, we have Mr. Mahoney, Mr. McGain. Thank you. And physical conditioning, Miss Overstorm and Miss Bakrisky-Schley. Drama for winter term, Mr. Reisman, Mr. Spalding, and Mr. Ink. And basketball, Mr. Noonan and Mr. Marcinek. And spring term, we have lacrosse, Mr. Mahoney and Mr. Coughlin. Spring term, outdoor challenge, Mr. Booth and Mr. Kavakis. And in drama, we have Mr. Reisman, Mr. Spalding, and Mr. Ink. So thank you very much, coaches. Without further ado, we will present the spring term award for sports and drama. So I'd like to invite outdoor challenge coaches, Mr. Booth and Mr. Kavakis, to present the award.
So prior to giving out our awards, I would like to welcome the team of Outdoor Challenge to come up and be recognized. So I'm going to read out their names, and Mr. Kavakis is going to give them a pin, but just make sure I can see that list. So first we have Harry Alve-Lalamont, Jonah Ball, Owen Danner, please come up. Harry Alve-Lalamont, Jonah Ball, Owen Danner, please grab a pin too. There we go, there we go. There we go. All right. Noah Greenfield, Avi Hammer, Cam Higgins, save your applause for after. Gabriel Hissler, J.P. Larkin, Zach Manzano, Campbell Rivera, Alan Soshnick, Tenzin Sutton, and Jake Wire. Yes, there we go. Pin. Clinton. Clinton. So we're going to start off with most improved. So this senior in Outdoor Challenge showed a lot of resolve, a lot of work. He initially started last year a little hesitant and worried about some of the paths that we were taking. I always encouraged him to push himself a little bit harder, reminded him that he could indeed do it. And when we spoke this year about joining Outdoor Challenge again, he was enthusiastic, determined, and reassuring. He said, "It's not going to be like last year, Senor Booth." And I was like, okay, well, let's go for it. And I can remember our first hard hike. He remained center of the pack, did not falter, and he really worked hard and impressed me. So, and Mr. Kavakis. So we are happy to give the award for most improved to Noah Henry Greenfield. Alrighty, next up is our Coaches Award. And so our Coaches Award goes to another senior, somebody, I just have to make sure I know their last name. Okay, middle name, I know their last names. So this senior continued to show a passion for this sport. He eagerly and relentlessly suggested Black Rock as his path of choice, and if you have not done Black Rock, it is a gorgeous hike. I don't know if the rest of the team would agree. They preferred other routes. But this senior worked hard, showed not only improvement, but also consistently engaged the group and suggested ideas that could not only entertain his peers, but also challenge them and break the norm so that we weren't just walking in the woods, but we were really hiking and exploring. And so we're happy to give this award to Zachary Sandler Manzana. And so I do want to just thank the Outdoor Challenge team as a whole. Collectively, we not only explored a lot of Connecticut, but I'd like to say that we had a lot of fun. This is my fourth season with Outdoor Challenge, fourth or fifth season with Outdoor Challenge, and not only did they impress me, but they brought a lot of fun, even if they had to put up with my horrible taste in music. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Outdoor Challenge team and the coaches. Next, I invite Mr. Reisman, Mr. Spalding, and Mr. Ink to present the awards for drama.
Sorry, I just have to get my notes up.
What?
Why aren't I off book? That's the student's job now, no longer mine. So the first thing that I want to do is we had a really exciting year in theater. We put on 2 shows, and the boys worked really hard. And every year, we go to a thing called the Halo Awards, which includes 84 high schools now across the state of Connecticut. And this year, across our 2 shows, we got 6 nominations. So I just wanted to read the names of the boys who got nominated for the awards. So when I read your name, please stand up. So Best Comic Male Performance in a Play, Walter Montgomery as the fire chief in The Bald Soprano. Best Costume Design and or Execution, Ada McKee for both shows that we did. Best Scenic Design and or Execution, Charles Thomas, Max Korenstein, and Luke Fisher for the Brothers Grimm Spectaculathon. Best Male Standout Performance in an Ensemble Production, Jay Medeiros as Mrs. Martin in The Bald Soprano. Best Performance by a Cast in an Ensemble Production, The Bald Soprano and The Dumbwaiter. So all 8 of you stand up. And last but not least, Judah, you can sit. Last but not least, our winners from the Halo Awards Wednesday night. Best Performance by a Couple or Dynamic Duo in a Play, Huck Novotny and Zach Manzano as Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So the act of putting on a show is really difficult. It requires you to have to set aside your ego and make sacrifices to build something with a group of people that is bigger than yourself. I know how hard it is to make those sacrifices, but they are well worth it when you're able to put on a show of the level that we did this year. And it wouldn't have been possible without any of the boys that we had in theater this term working together. So I'm going to read your names and I'm going to announce what your role in the production was. However, we did have 42 characters in the play, and I don't remember them, so I'm just going to say actor. So Chip Cowan, sound. Chip, yes, come. Evan and Kenny, you're going to have to come too. Jacob Ekman, actor. Luke Fisher, STEM tech. Jacob Gottfried, actor. Max Korenstein, STEM tech. Aiden McKee, lights and costumes. Jay Medeiros, stage manager. Kenny Mihalka, sound. Evan Myrie, tech and AV. Huck Novotny, actor. Judah Rosner, actor. Hayes Talbot, actor. Charles Thomas, STEM tech. And Walter Montgomery, actor. So the award we're going to start with is Most Improved. The young man we are giving this award to this semester has had a odd journey along the Woodhall stage. In the winter, he got put in his role 2 days before the show started and had to deliver some insane monologues that don't make sense, and I have no idea how he memorized them, but he was able to. And then coming into this term, at the beginning, he had a lot of trouble taking direction, which is pretty hard when you are an actor. But through a constant willingness to grow and a passion to be the best version he could be, by the end of the term, he was taking notes extremely well. He was finding his sweet spot on stage, and he really learned the lesson of how can I be my best without making it about me so my peers can shine just as much. Watching that growth this term was really special, so I am proud to award Walter Scott Montgomery V, Most Improved. Congratulations, Walter. And now to speak to our MVP, I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Ng.
So the winner of the MVP award is a member of STEM Tech. So STEM Tech is something that we started doing this year with with the new STEM lab. So we've started building a lot of sets. This member of STEM Tech, well, one thing you need to know about STEM Tech is there's a lot of waiting around at the beginning until things get figured out. And then there's kind of a rush to get everything finished at the end. So towards the end, we were kind of rushing to get a ton of things done. And I could only be one place at one time. So I ended up, this particular student stepped up, and they actually did a lot of the CNC router work on the talking fish and the bushes and trees. And they also helped a lot in terms of supervising and training other boys. So he was really invaluable in helping us pull everything together, and he put in a lot of extra hours. So I'm proud to award the MVP to Luke Bradley Fisher.
All right. The last award that we are giving out is the Director's Award. So I am famous amongst my actors for saying things that in my head make perfect sense, but when they come out of my mouth, no one knows what I'm talking about. And my first really strong memory of working with this actor was last winter, where I gave him a direction that made perfect sense in my head, and all I got was a very long blank stare. And I explained it to him again, and it still didn't make sense. But once it finally clicked and we were able to get it across, the first thing I noticed was how much he wanted the note to work, how much he wanted it to succeed. So this semester, there was a beat in the show where one of the actors had to step onto the stage, and this student from the very back had to run as fast as he could and push him off stage. And it's a timing joke, which is really hard for actors to pull off, except young actors. And so I said, or especially for young actors. So I give him the note, and what I got back was a really long blank stare as we tried to figure it out. However, it took a lot less time to get to a point where it made sense to him. And the first time it didn't work. And the second time it didn't work. But once again, he was extremely determined to make sure the joke went the way I saw it in my head and the way he wanted it to be. And I think that really reflects this young man throughout the entire semester. He was one of the first actors off book this term. He came in every day with an incredible attitude. And my big mantra that I give them is no one wants to be the weakest link, because that will be as good as we are. And no one was more determined not to be this person. This was his first year acting, and he grew exponentially. And I'm just excited going to next year to see how much more he can grow. So the Director's Award goes to Calvin Huck Novotny. It's been a great year, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, drama crews and directors. Finally, I'd like to invite Mr. Mahoney and Mr. Coughlin to present the awards for lacrosse.
We're going to call up the rest of the lacrosse team. So, in no particular order, Finn Cook, Harry Doherty, Max Drogan, Charlie Gortel, Charlie Jones, Ryan Logiatis, Caden Miller, Rohan Rajan, Varick Shah, and I went in alphabetical order, Dalton Cronin.
all fanning out up here. All right. All right. Well, this is still a little weird. Being alone in the front. We'll get in here. All right.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. You can't even hear him. So, quite the group of guys that we had for this year. It's very much a year where we had to rebuild and then rebuild again and then rebuild again.
There's another rebuild after that.
Yeah, and then one more after that. You're right. Yep. We faced a lot of adversity, and I think some of that adversity kind of occurred on our own team. And to the credit of all the boys standing up here right now, they faced that adversity and they overcame it. We had some real victories, most notably our victory over Marvelwood for Parents Weekend. Thank you, thank you. And I think just as importantly, when we lost finally to Marvelwood in the semifinals, and there were a group of young men standing there at the end of the game, positively engaging and building each other up rather than dragging each other down. So I look at that as a massive success for our team and for these boys up here. We will proceed first with the Coaches Award in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, the season was, I don't know, it was tough, but it was a lot like Chumbawamba, I think. So the band Chumbawamba, you know, you get back up again. So you get knocked down and you get back up again. Because nothing's ever going to keep you down, Ryan. That's just it. You can't be kept down. So, and that was very much literally like the team. I mean, Caden would literally get knocked down multiple times a game, and we'd ask him, "You okay?"
No, it was that one time he said, "I'm going to puke."
Yeah.
But yes,
I'm okay, and I'll still go back in. So constantly getting knocked down and not get up again. But Chumbawamba actually a lot of anti-capitalist socialist propaganda in their songs. I don't know if you didn't know it. So layers and metaphors, you know, so just like the team. So I guess the first thing we'll do is the Coaches Award. So when we get our Coaches Award, sometimes there are leaders out there who give rousing speeches. I like Mr. Mahoney, actually. So we can get some rousing speeches. You get people who are angry and get in their face and tell them what they did wrong and just say, do it right the next time. There are those leaders. This is not that person. They do not lead vocally. Instead, if asked to, you know, set up some practice drills or some cones, they do it. If we need to get some water for practice because it's hot out, they do it. Zero complaints about setting up or picking up, or even, hey, we're going to run a couple laps. Never a complaint about this. So the Coaches Award goes to a person that we shouldn't be shocked because they have a lot of endurance to do all that running, and they really set the stage and lead by that sort of example. They use their cross-country skills to the fullest here as probably the most conditioned person on the team, I'd say. Yeah. So, Rohan Rajan, that is you, sir. Congrats.
I could see
Rohan.
Bye, Rohan. It's that energy, guys. It just keeps on going. So, I talked about running 2 laps, so I'll go out there now, too.
So we have the award for the most improved player. And I don't know if this is maybe a dated reference, but if any of you have ever seen Tom and Jerry, where Jerry is chasing Tom around with like the frying pan over his shoulder, and he's just kind of like going after. Yeah. We have a player on our team who you would just see the ball go one way in someone's stick, and that player would be following right behind it, stick raised, up, ready, cocked, ready, and loaded. And started the year as a new player to the sport, a new student at Woodhall, and over the course of the term and over the course of the season, he really came into his own, developed the skills, and became a pretty valuable member of the team in that last game. He ran pretty much the entire time with minimal complaint. So it is our pleasure to award the most improved to Varick Javier Shah. Thank you, Varick. Woo, gotta take that one.
Yeah, I don't think we should worry about like dated references. I just talked about Chumbawamba, Mr. Mahoney, so I think the dated references are probably okay. So, and another dated reference, I guess. Well, it's actually kind of current. So, the person who is going to earn our Most Valuable Player award this year was, I coached football for 5 years. I do not know anything about lacrosse. So I am literally very much a Ted Lasso type of situation. I do not understand offsides. I do not understand what the crease is. And this person was exceptionally helpful. I know that sometimes we literally have a coach beard, a coach with a beard who is well-read and plays chess. So we actually have that. The only difference is Coach Beard's from Illinois, but in the show. But this person was, I think, for me, a coach on the field. And I think that's really important when you're looking at most valuable players. We had people who led by quiet example. We had people who had high energy and improved greatly. And we certainly had this person. So whereas I was exceptionally new to the sport, this person was our most veteran player, an exceptionally important attribute on a team made up of so many people who were new to the sport itself. So when I had those questions about what offsides is, what a crease is, what they actually call the ball in lacrosse, it's just a ball. It's just a ball. I just found that out. All right. When I thought that lacrosse was, French for the cross, it's not. It's not. It actually has a different history. But it's not a soft drink. No, it's none of those things. Sorry, Ryan. That's a longer story. But this person is clearly our most experienced player, but our most well-rounded and versatile player. I don't think it's going to be any shock who's getting this particular award right now when I said they were our most experienced player, but they won every face-off, giving us an advantage. This person, besides being athletically talented and gifted and skilled at lacrosse, is also someone who is exceptionally tough and really illustrated that fortitude that we talked about, getting knocked down and getting back up again. On our last game, after being... Yes, I mean, he literally looked... I mean, I am no nurse, yeah. Charlie came out after a hard hit, blood just everywhere. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where Nurse Jamie was, huh?
You just said his name. Didn't you just spoil it?
Ryan. I think we already knew who it was, so it's okay. They're very good, though, Ryan. That's perceptive. I'm glad you're paying attention. Figure out what a soft drink is and get back to us. So this person literally had their face just wrapped up in gauze, like a Tom and Jerry episode where the person I'll just put more around it and just keep going, and eventually it will be fine.
You're doing a really good job of connecting.
This person, you got to do that. That's the English people right here, so we make connections. Yeah. I don't know who that was. So that's really what we had to do, and he went back in 30 seconds after I gauzed him up, and then won a face-off, went down the field in about 5 seconds and scored another goal. So it shouldn't be any shock to us that, yes, it is Charlie. Charlie Gortel is our MVP. I'm super excited. Wait, what excited? Charlie, I'm so excited that I get to give this to you after our win versus Marvelwood. I was really excited. I was pumped up. It was one of the most exciting sporting events, all right, that I've witnessed. And being a Buffalo Bills fan and Cubs fan, you see a lot of losses. So the fact that we came down and then won at that last second, I just ran out in the middle of the field, not knowing fully what's going on, but I realized we scored more points and that we won. And I just ran out. I found Charlie. I was looking for a Brandy Chastain style slide, but I'll tell you, wearing suspenders and a sweater vest, you can't just disrobe that quickly, so I couldn't do it. But I found Charlie, and I just hugged him. He's like, I didn't score the goal. I'm like, I don't care. I'm just glad we won. So, Charles John Gortel, congratulations. Good work, bud.
All right, last one. And I know that there have been a lot of jokes up here tonight, most notably by those two suave lacrosse coaches that been taking up a lot of your time. But in nominating a member of our team to the Hudson Valley Athletic League All-League team, we had to think once again about somebody who I think really has shown growth in all aspects of his time here on the team, his time here in the dorm, and his time as my advisee as well. So I want to make it quick and also award this to Charlie John Gortel. It was Charlie. It was. Yeah, we got it. Cool. Can we wrap? We're good. We're good. Yeah, we. Woo.
Take it on the road. Congratulations, boys. So I'm well known for having a jar of Hershey Kisses on my desk, although my colleague, Priscilla Loomis, Director of Advancement, figured out how to one-up me, and she has an assorted candies in her jar, and the boys are often in there, and it's a great way to get to know them. Although she also has done something that I haven't. She has a little sign that says Limit 2. But Mrs. Loomis, if you wanted to come up, and also all the seniors, the class of 2023, if you could come up as well.
God, I hate these things. We all here? So one of the things that we do in the advancement office is our alumni and alumni relations. And the alumni from Woodhull are the future of the Woodhull School. So today, I would like to welcome you all as our new members of the Woodhull School alumni family. So, gentlemen, congratulations on your significant achievement. Your hard work and determination have paid off, and now you are ready to take the next step. We are very proud of what you have accomplished. Tomorrow, as you leave this campus, you will have the proud distinction of being a member of the Woodhull School alumni family. You will always be glad you had the Woodhull experience. It will support you to the end of your life. As you move on, I encourage you to remain actively engaged with Woodhull. Congratulations and welcome to the Woodhull School alumni. Go Phoenix. Bet you can't guess what's in there.
So, boys, we're almost done. I just wanted to address two more things. We also, with the senior class, they have a class gift. And I want Avi Hammer to talk about this because, Avi, you really took the lead, and your classmates, it was, I know. So if you just want to share with the community the senior class gift.
So the money that we made from the T-shirts that we sold at Parents Weekend went towards a beanbag, a rug, various wall decorations, an Amazon Fire Stick for the senior lounge that we thought was better than, one, a Gaga pit, and two, it actually get some use. So all of the seniors in the future will be able to use this space, and we opened it up to the underclassmen so they can enjoy it as well with senior permission. To make it something that the whole community could enjoy. And there might be a tetherball thing coming, but I don't know if that's going to get any use. Okay, you better. You're not very good at following promises.
Worth it. So thank you, Avi. Thank you, seniors. One more thing. We do have a tradition here of a class tree. And the plaque will be here after you graduate, but many of you noticed that flowering cherry tree that was planted right in front of the new STEM lab. That will be your class tree moving forward, and you can come back and watch it grow. And actually, if you take some time, we started that tradition, I think, back in 2011. But, you know, today, earlier this morning, Gabriel saw me. I was out doing some compulsive gardening, and there were 3 trees down by the new pavilion, which actually are planted in memory of students who've passed away and other community members. And actually, throughout the campus, we have a lot of trees planted in memory of community members. And you know, this year I lost my dad in December, and actually the red oak right out by the bleachers, there'll be a plaque, you know, commemorating him. But maybe because I lost my dad this year, but I also noticed a lot of our our community members, our boys, lost their grandfathers this year, and you as parents lost your fathers in particular. So boys, this is a happy time, and we're going to celebrate you tomorrow. But for all of us here gathered, just take a moment and give thanks to those people who helped you get to where you are today, but who are no longer with us, and hold them in your hearts this evening and tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks, boys. Thanks, Aiden. So we've come to a close. You may have noticed in the middle of the ceremony, it was raining quite hard. And I said to Sasha, oh gosh, I hope it ends by the end of the ceremony. It has. So we have a long-standing tradition. I'm looking at Aaron Miller, class of 2008, who's here, and I know there are other alumni who are here and will be here tomorrow. And this very same tradition we've been following for probably about 30 years, the torch lighting ceremony. And light is an important symbol, as we know, but especially for our graduates and for you, their families. I often think of the quotation from Milton, the dark night of the soul. And boys who are about to graduate, you think about some of those dark nights that you've had in your journey before Woodhull and during Woodhull. And you'll have those dark nights well after Woodhull. But this evening, we want to recognize each and every one of you. And I want you to carry that torch up to the senior bonfire. I'm an English major, so I have another quotation from George Eliot, who says, "We have enough light given to us to guide our own steps." So all the accomplishments that you've made, class of 2023, yes, you had a lot of people helping you, but the transformation happened because of your own inner strength and because of your own inner light. So boys, I don't know how we're going to do this with me holding the mic. There's too many things going on. So, yeah. This part just, we won't be able to. Yeah. Harrison Nicholas Ave Lalamont. Noah Henry Greenfield. Avi Robert Hammer. Zachary, oh, nope. Missed one, even with my glasses. Gabriel Dean Hissler. All right, now ready, Zach? Zachary Sandler Manzano. Kenneth Makana Milhalka. Rohan Elijah Rajan. Tenzin Seton. Owen Jacob Wire. So you're invited to join the class of 2023 up by the hillside by the senior bonfire, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Commencement starts at 10 a.m. Thank you.